Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Since we are to start the program only by 5 o'clock, we would request you to have tea and snacks that's being arranged near the lift at the ground floor. And we have yet another request. Seats on the right side is being reserved for judges and on the left for the invited seniors and designated seniors.
Lighting the lamp is a sacred sign to invoke the blessings of the divine for an auspicious beginning. We now request the dignitaries on the stage to formally inaugurate the function by lighting the lamp.
Before we move on, we may now stand in silence for a minute and offer respects to that great soul who was a beacon of social justice and who crafted the Constitution of India, Dr. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar. He breathed his last during sleep on the 6th of December 1956. The audience may kindly be seated. Advocate Anup V. Nair, Secretary, Kerala High Court Advocates Association, will now extend a note of welcome to the gathering.
A very good evening to you all. Honorable Mr. Justice Dr. D.Y. Chandrachud, former Chief Justice of India, Honorable Chief Justice of Kerala, and esteemed judges of the Kerala High Court, Honorable President Advocate Chennai, Advocate T.C. Krishna, ASG in charge, Advocate Jay Krishnan, respected senior advocates who are present here, my dear committee members, members of the bar, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. A very good evening to you all once again. It is with great honor and profound respect that I stand before you today to welcome you all to this momentous occasion. The Law Day lecture here at the High Court of Kerala, delivered by one of India's most distinguished legal minds, Honorable Mr. Justice Dr. D.Y. Chandrachud, former Chief Justice of India. Law Day on November 26th each year holds special significance as we remember the adoption of the Constitution of India in 1949. This day provides an opportunity to reflect on the constitutional values that form the bedrock of our nation and to celebrate the rule of law which continues to guide our progress and safeguard our democracy. The Constitution is not just a legal document, but a vision of justice, equality, liberty, and fraternity for every citizen of this country. We are particularly fortunate today to be in the presence of Honorable Mr. Justice Dr. D.Y. Chandrachud, whose contributions to Indian jurisprudence and the legal profession have been transformative. Justice Chandrachud's career has been marked by his unwavering commitment to upholding constitutional values, promoting justice, and protecting the rights of the citizens. As the Chief Justice of India, he had further strengthened the principles of equality, liberty, and justice that are enshrined in our Constitution. The lecture, which will be delivered by Justice Chandrachud, promises to be an enriching and enlightening experiences for all. As we delve into the important themes surrounding the law, its role in society, and the ever-expanding dimensions of justice, I would like to take this opportunity to express our sincere gratitude to Honorable Mr. Justice Chandrachud for accepting our invitation and gracing us with his presence. I welcome Honorable Mr. Justice Dr. D.Y. Chandrachud to this auspicious function. We are also grateful to the Honorable Chief Justice of Kerala and also to all the distinguished judges present here today for their continued support in organizing this event. I welcome the Honorable Chief Justice of Kerala to this auspicious function. I also welcome all the Honorable judges of this court to this function. I also welcome Advocate Yashwant Shenai, President, to this function. Organizing this function. I also welcome Advocate T.C. I welcome my committee member, Advocate Jagishan Yu, to this function. I warmly welcome all the senior advocates who are present here today, my dear committee members, registrars of this court, esteemed members of the bar, my colleagues, Additional Advocate General Ashokam Charian sir, State Attorney Manoj sir, Director General of Prosecution T.A. Shaji sir, Additional DGP Gracious sir, government leaders of the High Court, advocate clerks, association office staffs, all other distinguished guests on the dais and off the dais to this auspicious occasion. Once again, I welcome you all. Jai Hind.
Now, I take this moment to invite Justice Din Jamdar, Chief Justice, High Court of Kerala, the guest of honor, to render the special address to this August gathering.
Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, former Chief Justice of India, my colleagues, senior advocates, my advocate friends, members of the registry. First of all, let me congratulate the organizers of the association for starting this Law Day series. And it's my privilege to be part of this function. I would not speak on the topic, but I would take liberty about speaking few words about the speaker of today, as I have known him over the years. Just a month back, when I met Justice Chandrachud at Goa, I asked him that we all have a question for you, as where do you get your energy from? And I have seen it over 30 years, how he has got his energy. I was fortunate to interact with Justice Chandrachud at various intersections in life. First, as a member of the bar, where I worked with him sometimes appeared against him. I remember engaging him in a land acquisition matter where he had advanced arguments which were way beyond those times, which later on recognized legislative recognition in form the Act of 2013. Then I have seen him as the Additional Solicitor General of India, appearing for various public bodies, then appeared before him when he was a judge of the Bombay High Court, then as a colleague at the Bombay High Court, also member of the cricket team of judges of Bombay High Court, where he was a star opening batsman. Then later on, of course, he went to Uttar Pradesh and thereafter the Supreme Court of India. In Bombay High Court, Justice Chandrachud rendered decisions on almost all topics. They are still landmark decisions. After so many years, there were decisions where he authored as a member of the bench, topics ranging from environmental law, complex topics of taxation, slum redevelopment. He had a remarkable way of dictating from the dais. I have seen him dictating for 4 hours non-stop from the dais, an ability I have not seen thereafter. Though he has made all this look very easy, I would give an analogy of a swan which moves on the surface very gracefully, but is paddling very furiously. He has put in a tremendous hard work. All these achievements are because of his self-discipline. I remember even as an advocate, he would not entertain calls after a particular time, 9:30 in the night, and would be at his desk at 4:30, correcting the draft with his microtip pen with meticulous handwriting. All that what I wanted to convey from all this is that the Bar Association could not have found a better person for inauguration of today's series. That is because of his experience over the years. He has been able to handle almost all aspects of laws, and I'm sure from that experience, his today's speech will be enriching for all of us. I, like all of you, is eagerly awaiting his speech, so I will not hold on to the mic anymore. I again thank others for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for giving us a candid picture of today's chief guest, Honorable Mr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud. Now, we may invite Advocate T.C. Krishna, Deputy Solicitor General of India in charge, to felicitate on the occasion.
Honorable Justice Dr. D.Y. Chandrachud, former Chief Justice of India, Honorable Mr. Justice Nidin Jamdar, Chief Justice of Kerala, President of the High Court Advocates Association, Mr. Anup, Secretary, and Jayagishan, members of the High Court Advocates Association, esteemed judges, respected members of the bar, and my dear friends. It's a profound privilege to stand before this august gathering on the occasion of the Constitution Day Law Lecture. This event, organized with great dedication and vision by the Kerala High Court Advocates Association, is a testament to the enduring commitment of the association to foster legal scholarship and uphold the highest ideals of our Constitution. Today, we are deeply honored by the presence of Honorable Justice Dr. D.Y. Chandrachud, whose profound contribution as the 50th Chief Justice of India continue to illuminate our understanding of constitutional values. The theme of today's lecture, Fraternity under the Constitution, our quest for an inclusive society, is particularly significant, resonating with the very essence of the preamble of our Constitution. Fraternity, as enshrined in our founding document, seeks to bind us together in unity while embracing our diversity. It's a principle that calls for harmony and mutual respect among all citizens, transcending barriers of caste, creed, language, and culture. In our journey towards achieving this ideal, we are reminded of Dr. Ambedkar's words. Fraternity means a sense of common brotherhood of all Indians. Without fraternity, equality and liberty will be no deeper than coats of pains. The insights of Honorable Justice Dr. Chandrachud on this subject will undoubtedly enrich our perspectives and inspire us to strive for an inclusive society, which remains a fundamental aspiration of our constitutional framework. Under the stewardship of Kerala High Court Advocates Association, numerous education initiatives have been conducted over the years. These initiatives have significantly benefited the legal fraternity, particularly by fostering intellectual growth and enhancing professional skills. Today's program is yet another shining example of the association's unwavering commitment to nurturing legal. I believe that this lecture will serve as a beacon of knowledge and motivation, particularly for young lawyers, instilling the confidence to engage with the law as a transformative tool for justice. It is through such meaningful engagements that we, as the members of the legal profession, can ensure that the ideals of our Constitution continue to thrive in every aspect of our society. As I conclude, I extend my heartfelt congratulations to the Kerala High Court Advocates Association for organizing this remarkable event and express my deepest gratitude to Honorable Justice Dr. D.Y. Chandrachud for gracing us with his presence and wisdom. May today's deliberations inspire us all to reaffirm our commitment to the principles of fraternity, equality, and justice, and may we continue to uphold the sacred trust bestowed upon us by the Constitution of India. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite Advocate Yashwant Shenoy, President, Kerala High Court Advocates Association, to offer his felicitation.
Honorable Justice Dr. D.Y. Chandrachud, former Chief Justice of India, Honorable Justice Nitin Jamda, Chief Justice, High Court of Kerala, Advocate T.C. Krishna, all the judges of this Honorable Court, the dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, senior advocates, my brothers and sisters at the bar, and my dear friends. The euphoria of having Justice Dr. D.Y. Chandrachud is palpable in this auditorium today. I have never seen this auditorium packed like this before, and it only says one thing, that the charisma of Justice D.Y. Chandrachud continues to capture the young and the old alike. The association was clear that we will celebrate Constitution Day with a lecture, and I had no doubts about the speaker I wanted. But the question was, how will we get it? I have no words to thank Justice Devan Ramchandran, who was instrumental in getting Justice Chandrachud for this lecture. The lecture is certainly not being delivered on Constitution Day, but today, the day chosen is equally important, as today is Mahaparinirvan Divas, which is the death anniversary of the great B.R. Ambedkar, the father of the Constitution. While exchanging messages with Justice Chandrachud, I was constantly telling him about the young, exuberant bar that we have here, who needs to be inspired to do more, and ultimately Justice Chandrachud agreed to deliver this lecture. Justice Chandrachud was always kind to junior advocates and inspired them to do better. Without a doubt, I can tell that Justice Chandrachud has inspired hundreds of advocates and shaped many of their careers. In the High Court of Bombay, junior advocates would get small money to seek adjournments. But in Justice Chandrachud's court, the juniors were willing to do it for free. Justice Chandrachud created an environment of calmness and encouraged younger members of the bar even when they were up against stalwarts, and induced so much confidence in them. He took care of the younger bar. When I saw that our bar is filled with youngsters, all I wanted to do was inspire them to dream big and to do better than they did yesterday. I believe that if you take care of the younger bar, everything will be taken care of. The bench is nothing but members of the bar who switched over. The bench reflects the bar. If we complain at the quality of the bench, we have to look at the bar. If we complain of the integrity of the bench, we have to look at the bar. That is why we need to take care of the younger bar. If they take the right path, everything else will fall in its place. And that is why this year on, association has focused on the younger members of the bar. We have brought in 15 scholarships this year and set up a research center. Research is so vital to our profession, and there can be no better research center than the one run by practicing advocates, because we deal with the law in motion. We know its gaps and shortcomings, and we can fix it better if we learn the art of publishing research papers and also contribute to policy making. As I said earlier, to resolve backlog of cases, we need to see litigation as an economic behavior and address that behavioral pattern. For example, the interest rates awarded by the courts are way lower than the commercial rate of borrowings. If interest rates alone can be 2% above the prime lending rates, there would be no incentive for insurance companies to hold on to litigations. A majority of motor accident claims contested by insurance companies might drastically drop. The same is about valuation of human life. Even after 75 years of independence, we are yet to put a minimum value on human life. It varies from rupees 50,000 to 11 crores. The scope of research is huge, and this means there is a big opportunity available to the younger members of the bar, and if they are able to grab that opportunity, that will be the best thing that we would be doing. Today, the association is also recognizing the contribution of advocates who have completed 50 years of practice. This is not just about their grit and determination, but also about their continued belief in the administration of justice. All of them started their practice even before I was born. These advocates are the guiding lights of this association. The association took care of many issues this year, but this one issue still haunts us. The shift to technology snatched away our guiding light away from the system, and the system was not inclusive enough to take care of them. The association has not given up, and we believe that technology can be inclusive, and this means that we can get our guiding lights back into our fold so that the guiding lights can lit up the path of the young advocates. From 2021 on paper, Kerala has been numero uno in adopting technology, but this technology adoption is only one side of the bar, and we are the only high court with not a single e-court, and where physical filing and serving of physical copies to the other side is mandatory for listing of matters. It is not that we are averse to technology. We allow adoption of technology that is inclusive. Honoring the members of our association who have made the life of lawyers a lot easier by technology. Justice Nitin Jamdar, as I know him, is a person who leads by example. And I was informed that CJ's court will be the first e-court, will be a e-court from January 2025. One thing that I would want to mention, one thing common between Justice and Justice Chandrachud is both have been leading by examples. I am certain that our Chief Justice will help the association in bringing back our guiding lights. I admit that I seriously messed up in planning this event, but I am certain that all the senior advocates will forgive me as they would forgive their children. The association, as we see it, is not just an association that takes care of its members on a professional front. This association intends to ensure that there is a holistic development of an advocate, and therefore sports, arts, literature, etc. The association will be transformed into a place where, along with learning, we will ensure all-round development of its members. To start all these initiatives, we start with this lecture, and we are all keen to hear and to be inspired by Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, and therefore, and tell all members that my initial days were spent in the courtroom of Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, and my inspiration to walk this far came from him. I wish many more judges this quality and ensure that we have an inspired bar that is competing not against each other but with themselves in terms of benchmark they set up for quality. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. President.
My work, not words, will speak. These are of Mr. Justice Dr. Dhananjay Yeshwant Chandrachud in his first statement to the media after being sworn in as the 50th Chief Justice of India. Verily, Justice Chandrachud's stellar contributions by being on the bench for nearly quarter of a century has expanded the universe of judicial discourse and has left an indelible imprint on the law and the nation. Son of Justice Yeshwant Vishnu Chandrachud, Justice Dhananjay Chandrachud grew up in a family of lawyers. His father was the longest-serving Chief Justice of India, holding office for 7 years. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud did his bachelor's in economics from St. Stephen's College, New Delhi. After being designated as a senior advocate at the age of 39, Justice Chandrachud was appointed as Additional Solicitor General of India in the year 1998. He was elevated as Judge of the Bombay High Court in the year 2000, where he served for 13 years. In the year 2000, D.Y. Chandrachud was appointed Chief Justice of the Allahabad High Court, and in May 2016, he was elevated to the Supreme Court. In November 2022, Justice Dhananjay Yeshwant Chandrachud was appointed as the Chief Justice of India. After a glittering span of 24 years as a judge, Justice Chandrachud has demitted office on the 10th of November 2024. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud's tenure at the Supreme Court has been phenomenal, with almost all notable constitution bench judgments since his elevation to the apex court bear the stamp of his pen. Notably, Justice D.Y. Chandrachud has, at least on 2 occasions, overruled the judicial opinions of his father. Once in 2017, striking a court in the famous Justice Puttaswamy case, and the other in 2018, while striking down adultery as an offense. Almost all judgments authored by Justice Chandrachud have moved the needle of jurisprudence and left a dent in public life and its interaction with polity and personal rights. During his glittering career, Justice D.Y. Chandrachud has been part of a number of landmark judgments, including those on decriminalization of same-sex relations, validity of Aadhaar scheme, constitutionality of electoral bonds, upholding the abrogation of Article 370, expanding the scope of Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act, striking down adultery as an offense, right to live with subclassification of SC/ST candidates, validity of unstamped arbitration agreements, applicability of group of companies doctrine in India, invalidity of arbitration clauses which have unilateral appointment of arbitration, and a host of other decisions. Ladies and gentlemen, apart from his legal aesthetics and penchant for technology, Dr. Chandrachud has interests in Indian classical music and Western music. While he is a fan of Kumar Gandharv and Gana Saraswati Jishoy Amonkar, he is also a great fan of Bob Dylan. And on a difficult day to court, Justice Chandrachud is heard to listen to his collection of ABBA as well. He is also known for his love for cricket. Many of us, having thus far known and had the opportunity of only reading the judgments rendered by Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, which is not only testimony of his legal acumen and judicial craftsmanship, but also expression of his progressive views with an impetus on personal liberty, rights and autonomy. We shall now have the privilege of hearing him direct. We request you, sir, to address the gathering.
Honorable Mr. Justice Nitin Zamdar, Chief Justice of the High Court of Kerala, distinguished judges of the Kerala High Court, Mr. T.C. Krishna, Deputy Solicitor General of India, Mr. Yashwant Shenoy, President of the Kerala High Court Advocates Association, Mr. Jaikrishnan, Mr. Anup Nair, Secretary of the Kerala High Court Advocates Association, distinguished senior members of the and my dear friends, all the other members of the bar as well. I'm delighted to be here this evening, and that would be perhaps quite an understatement. My tryst with Kerala is both personal and professional. I visited the High Court before and have had the signal honor of having spoken here as well. When I was approached to deliver my remarks to mark Constitution Day here in Kerala, I was informed by Mr. Shenoy that many young members of the bar will be in attendance. India is the largest democracy with the largest population. For those of you who have an inclination towards economics, India is reaping the demographic dividend, which means that our working population is larger than the non-working age population. This trend began in 2006 and is expected to continue until 2055, 2056, longer than any other country in the world. By 2030, we would have added 800 million people to the working age population in our country. By the next decade, we are expected to contribute 24.3% of the global workforce. Those of you who are statistically minded or statistical geeks, it is of interest to note that 26% of our population falls in the age group of 10 to 24. 68% of our population falls within the age of 15 and 64. Yet, there are fault lines. Only 24% of women participate in our workforce today. Our population is overwhelmingly young, and they bear the burden of deciding the direction of our country. The young generation is aspirational and intelligent. This prompted me to speak on a relatively unexplored concept in the Constitution. My hope is that this gives some food for thought to everyone present here, particularly the young, in the direction we want to take ourselves and our society in the future. Today is also Mahaparinirvan Divas, which marks the death anniversary of the death of the architect of the Constitution, Dr. Babasaheb Bhimrao Ambedkar. I have chosen to speak on fraternity under the Constitution, our quest for an inclusive society. Fraternity as a value was close to Dr. Ambedkar's heart, and it is only fitting that we remember it and hopefully transform its discourse into a more vibrant theme for our society. First, I will trace its origins and the process of its inclusion in our Constitution, focusing on the role of Dr. Ambedkar and the Constituent Assembly. Second, I will examine how fraternity is embedded in our jurisprudence as a social hierarchies. Third, I will reflect on its contemporary relevance as a guiding principle for creating an inclusive society, emphasizing its role in addressing issues such as caste, gender, disability, and queer rights. Finally, I will conclude by discussing how fraternity fosters unity while celebrating our diversity, calling on the younger generation to embody this principle in their pursuit of justice, equality, and liberty. First and foremost, I'll deal with drafting of the Constitution and the emulation of fraternity in the Constituent Assembly. Our Constitution was adopted in an atmosphere of expectation and idealism. The experiences of partition were, however, a sobering reflection of the narrow gorge which divides peace from chaos. As Granville Austin notes, the framers of the Constitution rooted their expectation in the nation's ideals and provided the institutions and processes for achieving them. The Constitution was designed to break the shackles of traditional social hierarchies and to usher in a new era of freedom, equality, and justice. All this was to be achieved through a democratic spirit, using constitutional and democratic institutions. This grand design was to be worked out under the moral spirit of the Constitution, which is reflected in the preamble. The preambular cornerstone is built on the edifice of justice, equality. The story of fraternity in post-colonial India coincides with the origin of the word in the Constitution of India. The preamble is largely based on the Objectives Resolution, which was moved in the Constituent Assembly on 13 December 1946 by Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India. As the story goes, on 6 February 1948, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar pulled out a draft of the preamble from the pocket of his shirt. The draft appeared with the words fraternity written in it. The relevant part of the draft preamble read, fraternity, assuring the dignity of every distinction of caste or creed. In Dr. Ambedkar's imagination, fraternity upheld the dignity of the individual, which was under continuous assault by the caste system. We can see Dr. Ambedkar's understanding of fraternity from the time that he penned his famous but undelivered speech in the 1930s on the annihilation of caste. Contemplating on how power can be transformed to the masses for an economically just system of governance, Dr. Ambedkar opined that no person of the weaker section will join the project of transferring power unless he is assured that he will be treated equally under the new arrangement. Dr. Ambedkar said that the only thing that will move men to take action is if actuated by feelings of equality and fraternity, and above all, of justice. Therefore, for Dr. Ambedkar, fraternity was a necessary condition for Indians to unite in the cause of reforming society. His idea from an anti-discrimination perspective. But when he introduced the fraternity postulate to the drafting committee, he encountered the understanding of the term given by members on the ideological left and the nationalistic members. The left wanted fraternity to be analyzed in terms of class conflict. The nationalists wanted fraternity to be framed as a virtue of the nation and not of the individual. In his signature style, Dr. Ambedkar arrived at a consensus and formulated the fraternity postulate by stating fraternity, class or creed so as to assure the dignity of every individual and the unity of the nation. Therefore, Dr. Ambedkar amalgamated the three themes: fraternity in the sense of equality without distinction of caste, creed, or class; but he spoke of the dignity of the individual, and finally, the unity of the nation. This perhaps is the first fraternal understanding of fraternity, arrived at by a rich intermingling of perspectives. The draft of the Fraternity Clause was a product of those with widely different perspectives, but all of the members of the Constituent Assembly united in the cause of the nation and her people. Dr. Ambedkar's thoughts were not identical to those of the left or of the nationalists, but they were all Indians, and that is what unified them. In drafting fraternity, the drafting committee led by example. In a real sense, the history surrounding the adoption of fraternity as a constitutional postulate is reflective of the textured process of drafting our constitution. Those who were engaged in drafting came from diverse backgrounds, belonged to different ideologies, and spoke different languages. The consensus in diversity is what defined the constitutional project. Fraternity was one among them. In the Constituent Assembly, the draft of the preamble came under intense scrutiny. Each preambular postulate received critical commentary by the framers of the Constitution. There was only one exception to it, namely the Fraternity Clause. The addition of fraternity was universally appreciated and was discussed in all the three readings of the draft preamble. The final version of the fraternity postulate was presented on 21st February 1948, and it read, "Fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity of the nation." The version that we see today was, of course, a result of the 42nd Amendment to the Constitution, popularly called the Mini Constitutional Amendment, which added the words, "integrity of the nation," to the Fraternity Clause. Fraternal effect played a substantive role in the moral and pragmatic reasoning in the course of the debates in the Constituent Assembly. Members of the Constituent Assembly argued for their positions by asking communities to foster and trust in the brotherly feelings of other communities. The Constituent Assembly drafted the Constitution by engaging in dialogue with the people of India. By doing this, it tried to reflect as diverse a perspective as possible. The goal of our framers was to respond to social justice in a changing society. They recognized that the process of reaching outcomes is far more important than the outcome itself. As a British writer has said, the journey is perhaps more important than our destination. The Constitution was drafted in 10 stages. As the constitutional historian B. Shivarao states, in the 4th stage, the drafting committee prepared a draft and published it for public comments. The process of public consultation was the 5th stage in the drafting process. The Constituent Assembly was flooded with postcards, representations, and memoranda from all nooks and crannies of the country. The Secretariat of the Assembly would acknowledge the representations and in some cases even offered a detailed reply. Those who participated in the bargain had a vital stake in its successful implementation and in its endurance. In contrast, many other countries either did not open the draft of their constitution to public comments or did not receive the enthusiastic response that the Indian people gave to her constitution. The 1889 Japanese constitution was announced as a gift from the emperor to his people. In our neighborhood, Bangladesh, despite opening its draft to public comments, only received 98 memorandums and 2 presentations. The purpose of public consultation was the constitutional text. It gave people a sense of ownership in the success of the constitutional project. All persons would have a stake in a system where their voices are heard. Even if a point of view, they are always etched in history and open for renegotiation at a later date. There lies the strength and the beauty of our Constitution and the conduct of our framers in imbuing fraternity in its fabric. Now, what does this tell us all as judges and lawyers? In a court of law, usually one side succeeds and the other side goes home unsuccessful. But I've always believed that it is in the course of dialogue of our judicial system emerges. It's in the course of listening to the tales of suffering of those who come before us that the healing in the judicial process takes place. The outcomes of what is arrived at in the court may be important to parties in a certain sense, but the process which takes place in a court of a reasoned dialogue is perhaps far more important. The reasoned dialogue in a court represents rationality. It represents a tradition of tolerance. It represents a tradition of inclusiveness. And therefore, each of you as lawyers, each of you as judges to be, I can't obviously address the judges, but I can tell you as the judges to be of the future, that the importance of the dialogue which takes place, the discussion, the debate, sometimes acrimonious, sometimes humorous, sometimes plain, boring. But this dialogue in the court is what sustains the concept. In the second part of my lecture, I'll deal with fraternity, love, and constitutional morality. Fraternity as an expression in constitutional text was not unique to India. We were not the first to realize this one word called fraternity. Nor was our constitution the first political document to use the expression. What was unique to was not the label, but its content. Fraternity as a value in constitutional text emerged from the French Revolution of 1789, which famously coined the slogan, Liberté, Égalité, Fraternité, ou la mort, or liberty, equality, fraternity, or death. Fraternity made its way into the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen of 1789 and continues to be a guiding principle in French constitutional law. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights of 1948 refers to it as a spirit of brotherhood in Article 1. Other countries have made an indirect reference to fraternity. The South African Constitution of 1996 refers to Ubuntu, a philosophy that embodies fraternity-like ideals of shared humanity, community, and mutual care. The Italian Constitution of 1948 calls for solidarity in Articles 2 and 3 for social justice and the fulfillment of individual and collective duties. Following the Indian preamble, the Constitution of Bangladesh includes a commitment to ensuring fraternity amongst all citizens. While the idea of dignity and fraternity in the French Revolution was enlightening in Dr. Ambedkar's understanding, his own formulation of fraternity did not come from a comparative perspective. Dr. Ambedkar had an evolving understanding of fraternity, which was grounded in Indian realities and conditions. A snapshot of this was captured in the preamble. Later in life, Dr. Ambedkar would convert to Buddhism. 2 years before accepting Buddhism as his religion, Dr. Ambedkar stated that he had not borrowed the term fraternity from France, but had taken it from the teachings of Gautam Buddha. Speaking on the All India Radio in 1954, Dr. Ambedkar said, and I quote, "My social philosophy may be said to be enshrined in 3 words, liberty, equality, and fraternity. Let no one, however, say that I have borrowed my philosophy from the French Revolution. I have not. My philosophy has roots in religion and not in political science. I have derived them from the teachings of my master, the Buddha." Lord Buddha believed that liberty and equality are necessary elements of a just society. and that the law must protect against the infraction of liberty and equality. However, he did not believe that the law can guarantee equality. Buddha believed that both liberty and equality are capable of being weaponized against the freedoms of others. The only solution to this was metta in Pali or Maitri in Sanskrit. 15 days before his death, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar explained in a speech that metta is love, justice, and goodwill. In his book Buddha and his Dhamma, Dr. Ambedkar lamented the inadequacy of the word fraternity to appropriately capture the need of the nation. He believed that what sustains equality and liberty is fellow feeling. The proper term is what the Buddha called Maitri. Dr. Ambedkar explained the meaning of Maitri as not just love or fellowship between humans, but with all living beings. No other philosophical, moral, or legal thought could give to all living beings the same happiness which one seeks for himself. Only Lord Buddha's metta could help people in keeping their mind impartial, open to all, with affection for everyone and hatred for none. Our framers gave us a north star of fraternity. It is now on us to create an inclusive society using this North Star. Dr. Ambedkar viewed fraternity as an ethic of love. Love is a powerful emotion. It evokes sincere interest in the well-being of the one you love. I love. After all, cordial and collegiate treatment of each other does not require an emotion as strong as love. The answer to this lies in the concerns which animated the insertion of fraternity and the tensions which we as a country have faced ever since over the last 75 years. Dr. Ambedkar saw the Constitution as much of a document visualizing a departure from social hierarchy as a document of political transformation and social change. He sought reform in society and believed that the destiny of the nation would be secure only if we were one. To be one, Dr. Ambedkar believed we must create space for our differences. Differences on the basis of identities, politics, and ideas. The fraternal bond is not meant to transcend, but preserve differences such as those of religion and language, but not a difference such as untouchability. Fraternity would hence seek to end discrimination as a part of the vision of just society. Fraternity, however, does not seek to steamroll differences. It seeks to preserve the innate value of human dignity while recognizing that differences in identity are a source of strength for a plural, diverse, and inclusive society. If you love someone like they are a part of your family, then you would look out for them even if they are economically or otherwise weaker. The political philosopher John Rawls described fraternity as corresponding to the desire and motivation which are natural amongst members of a family, that any personal advantage is to the benefit of the other members who are less well off. The Supreme Court of India has echoed this sentiment. In Prithviraj Chauhan versus the Union of India in 2020, the court opined that fraternity is not merely a declaration of a ritual handshake or cordiality between diverse and have occupied different spaces. It is a pact amongst people to uphold each other's dignity. Recently, a few days before I ended my tenure on the case of a person with an 88% locomotor disability. He was denied admission to the MBBS degree course. While granting him relief, the Supreme Court explored fraternity as a virtue which recognizes that to progress together, we must join forces in our mutual advancement and emancipation. When a person is discriminated against, there are two elements at play. At a primary level, discrimination excludes the excluded from the collective imagination of the nation. In another sense, the nation is deprived of the talent of those who are discriminated against and excluded. Our design for institutions and for systems of governance must reflect the rich diversity of our country. The aspiration is one rooted in our commitment to the nation. This is the commitment we make out of fraternity. Therefore, fraternity is mutually reinforced by equality, liberty, and justice. Dr. Ambedkar went on to explain the link between these principles later in his writing. He wrote that without fraternity, liberty would destroy equality, and equality would destroy liberty. If in democracy liberty does not destroy equality, and equality does not destroy liberty, it is because at the basis of both there is fraternity. Fraternity, he said, is therefore the root of democracy. Dr. Ambedkar was inviting us to imagine the consequences of a world where there is liberty and equality, but no fraternity. In a society which has inequity, those with more power will use their liberty to promote actions which are detrimental to those with less power. If speech is completely free, those with more resources and power will drown all other voices with their narrative. Free speech is a constitutional aspiration and guarantee. But what would happen even when that narrative is hateful? Liberty, therefore, will destroy equality. Similarly, if all people are given equal treatment without recognizing the inherent maldistribution of resources in society and life opportunities, equal treatment will allow those resourced to benefit over those who lack social and cultural capital. As the French author Anatole France famously said, "The law in its majestic equality forbids the rich as well as the poor to sleep under bridges, to beg in the streets, and to steal bread." Equality will therefore destroy the liberty of the lesser equals. Justice P.B. Sawant, in his concurring opinion in Indira Sahni versus Union of India in 1992, recognized this and opined that inequality ill favors fraternity and unity remains a dream without fraternity. Fraternity, therefore, understood in Ambedkarite terms of brotherhood among people, is the great stabilizing force in a democracy which works for all people. The codependent nature of our preambular virtues simplifies a revolutionary idea. The idea is that to show love to our people, we must join the cause of giving them justice, so that everyone may retain their differences and breathe the air of liberty and equality. Our progress is incomplete till all of us have progressed. In imagining this, we invite ourselves to understand and empathize with our fellow citizens from different castes, regions, religions, languages, and other identities. That is why fraternity is associated with love. Fraternity is an emotion which requires us to bother and care for others, not compete and defeat each other. Justice, liberty, and equality are not paintbrushes for a blank canvas. They are an end, and fraternity is the means to this end. The evocation of fraternity by the Supreme Court in varied contexts, from caste to disability and sexuality, shows the tenacity with which it assists social justice. The recent case of the disabled medical aspirant Om Rathod versus DGHS of 2024, the Supreme Court illustrated the crucial link between all social justice movements and the ethics of fraternity. The court held, and I quote, "What the movement for disability justice shares with other social justice movements, such as the anti-caste movement, feminism, and queer and trans justice, is that they call into question the fundamental arrangement of a society which has created prejudicial structures. In doing so, these movements invite us to contribute to the national goal of fraternity and integration. Far from being interruptive in the national journey, calls for equal access and equal justice postulate a disruption in the order of discrimination and prejudices so that we may carry on the journey of national progress. The Constitution enables this project of fraternity. I want to briefly highlight the diversity of cases where fraternity has been invoked. Fraternity was invoked by the Supreme Court in Raghunath Rao Ganpat Rao versus Union of India in 1994 in upholding the abolition of the privy purses. The court rejected the argument that former rulers of our princely states were a separate class of citizens and instead relied on Dr. Ambedkar's formulation of fraternity as a sense of common brotherhood for all Indians. In 2007, Chhattisgarh enacted a law to appoint special police officers to fight the Maoist insurgency in the state. These officers were mostly poor, young and uneducated tribals. The act allowed arms to be given to special police officers to fight the armed insurgency. In Nandini Sundar versus the state of Chhattisgarh, the Supreme Court struck down the act and directed that all the firearms distributed to the special police officers be recalled. The court reasoned that fraternity does not allow the state to support an armed group to control another armed group. In this way, the Supreme Court identified how state-promoted armed conflict among citizens is patently anti-fraternal. In Navtej Singh Johar versus Union of India, the virtue of fraternity was not only used to uphold the dignity of members of the LGBTQ plus community, but it was linked to the morality of the Constitution. The Supreme Court said that essentially as an attitude of respect and reverence towards fellow men. This diversity of cases in which fraternity has been used as an instrument of constitutional adjudication is testament to its emancipatory potential. Constitutional morality in particular is an idea born out of the genius of Dr. Ambedkar, much like the idea of fraternity. Both these ideas share a link. On 4th November 1948, Dr. Ambedkar addressed the Constituent Assembly in a historic speech and said, "Constitutional morality is not a natural sentiment. It is to be cultivated. Democracy in India is only a top dressing on an Indian soil." Dr. Ambedkar was pointing out that no matter how good a constitution is, its spirit can be muzzled without changing a word of it, only by taking over the administration of the Constitution. He was appealing to public servants to transcend the values that they had imbued in Indian social life and adopt the values and principles laid out before them ever so succinctly in the preamble. This is vital because no constitution is detailed enough to dwell on all matters or perspicacious enough to anticipate all issues of the future. The Constitution is not written by the quill of a soothsayer. Constitutions are built on a sense of trust in the institutions which they create. It was in this light that fraternity was framed in terms of an appeal to constitutional morality. I began by saying that India faces a demographic change. Young people, more aware of their social realities than generations before, represent the present and the future of the nation. The question before you, my young friends, is what will be your guiding star? Our constitutions give us the North Star, but the path forward is for ours to chart, for us to chart. Whether we can rise above the shadows of caste, religion, gender and class to create an India that is inclusive and just depends on how deeply we embody the ethic of fraternity. In the spirit of fraternity, I urge you to think of our Constitution not just as a document of rules, but as a living testament to our aspirations. Fraternity is not a mere word in the preamble borrowed from political movements for freedom in other parts of the world. Now I ask myself this question: are we being idealistic to speak about fraternity in a world which is being torn apart by conflict? Is an appeal to love and compassion virtues in a storybook or symbols of a life which we idolize but find illusory? I end on that fraternity is not just an aspiration which we dream about but see forsaken in the world today. Fraternity is the value which defines whether we will exist together or destruct in silos of our own creation. We are bound together today in concerns common to global humanity. There are dangers which lurk around the corner and cast long shadows on our existence as humans. Climate change, carbon emissions, the global rise in temperatures, and the depredations of nature are not matters which we can ignore as affecting someone else away from our backyard. They affect each of us and our communities here in India and elsewhere. Our coastal communities, our agricultural communities, our sources of food, water, air, and survival are at stake. Global pandemics such as COVID-19 have just reminded us that none of us, wherever or howsoever situated, is immune from their spread or impact. Loved ones everywhere were affected by their devastation. Conflict anywhere threatens peace everywhere. The ability of technology to spread disinformation has made us citizens of a post-truth society, where truth is evaluated as what is portrayed to be the truth, and news is what is shown to be the news in the media. Networks of information can be collated, analyzed, aggregated, and disaggregated at speeds which render acquired knowledge obsolete in fractions of time. Artificial intelligence is not just another human creation. How we will survive in a world of climate change, a world redefined by global pandemics, a post-truth society where truth is a casualty, and a world where technology is creating an existence in itself with many universes of its own. In a post-truth, post-colonial world, we seek the glue that binds our identities. Fraternity is that which holds the key. Fraternity asks us to extend a hand, to understand and uplift those different from us, to love our nation by loving its people in all their diversity, by caring for those whom we haven't thought of, by looking inwards within and outwards beyond the borders and barriers which redefine our existence as a global community. Leave here today then, I encourage all of you, especially the young members of this esteemed bar, to embrace this ideal. Uphold the dignity of every individual, not as a duty, but as a privilege. Remember that our nation's progress is incomplete until every citizen can live with dignity, without fear and with hope. Dr. Ambedkar reminded us that fraternity is the root of democracy. I have led you on a journey this evening by speaking of a world which confronts issues which threaten its existence, unrestrained by borders. Our ability to survive as a community, as a nation, and as humanity depends on how we deal with the barriers which we have created and which have overtaken us. Let us nurture the root of fraternity so that liberty, equality, and justice may yet seem a little more achievable for the generations to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your thought-provoking words of wisdom, truth, and purpose. Thank you for reminding us that the true spirit and unity of a nation are structured by the real meanings of inclusion, liberty, human dignity, and justice. Yes, the journey is better than the destination. We never wanted this journey of listening to your evocative insight to end, and we are looking forward to hear you more in the future. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Lawyers are considered torchbearers of the Constitution, it is told. In recognition of that spirit, the Kerala High Court Advocates Association decided to pay a must-have tribute to those legal heroes of the Kerala High Court Bar, who have by now completed 50 years of practice in this noble profession. It was a pleasure to honor all the designated senior advocates at the bar. Though there are 93 members of Kerala High Court Advocates Association who have completed 50 years at the bar, we now have the presence of only 57 senior lawyers with us today. We are really privileged to have with us the Honorable Justice D.Y. Chandrachud to do the honors. We now request the dignitaries on the stage to alight from the dais and do the honors. We now request Honorable Justice D.Y. Chandrachud to do the honors, starting with Advocate Abdul Salam K.A. Please be seated. A. Advocate Anil Kumar R. Advocate Advocate Arvindakshan KP. Advocate Babu KK. Advocate Balasubramanian KP. Advocate Chandran TN. Advocate Chandrasekharan C. Advocate Chinsi Gopakumar. Advocate Chinsi Gopakumar. Advocate George Karithanam Varghese. Advocate George Varghese. Advocate Gobi MC. Advocate James VC. Advocate James Vincent S. Jayaprasad V. Advocate Jayaprasad V. Advocate John Brito VV. Advocate John MC. Advocate John MV. Advocate Keshava Kaimal VR. Next, Krishna Kumari G. Advocate Krishna Kumari G. Advocate John MV. Advocate Krishna Kumari G. Next, Advocate Krishna Nair MP. Next, Kurian George Kannandana. Next, Lakshman Shenoy V. Advocate Lakshman Shenoy V. He is the father of the President, Advocate Yashwant Shenoy. Advocate Mohammed P.K. Advocate Philip Anthony Chaco. Advocate Premachandran ND. Advocate Raghunathan B. Advocate Rajagopalan Nair N. Next, Advocate Rajendran TG. Next, Advocate Ramachandran Nair A.
Followed by Advocate O. Ramachandran Nambiar. Advocate M. Ramakrishnan. Advocate M. Ramakrishnan. Advocate Ramaswamy Pillai M. Advocate Rafi PP. Advocate Abdul Razak S. Advocate KP Srikumar. Advocate Srinivasa Prabhu G. Advocate MVS Nambudiri. Advocate Thamban Thomas. Advocate Unnikrishna Menon M. Advocate Varghese KL. Advocate Varghese Pothan. Advocate Varghese Pothan. Advocate TV Varghese. Advocate Valsalan C. Advocate Vijayamma P. Advocate Vincent Panikulangara. Advocate Anandakuttan MR. Memento to be received by his junior, Srimati Hemalata. Advocate KD Babu. Advocate Krishnanunni T. Advocate C. Rajendran. Advocate C. Rajendran. Advocate Rajan Babu A.N. Advocate Thomas P.C. Advocate Zacharias K.D. Advocate P.C. Thomas. Advocate Zacharias K.D. Advocate Padmakumari P. Advocate Sadarul Anam E.M. Advocate Pangajakshan Pillai, TK. Advocate Pangajakshan Pillai, TK. Advocate Surendran VV. Advocate Surendran VV. And Advocate KD Babu. And next, Advocate Matai Varki Mudirendi. We also request Advocate T.H. Abdul Aziz to accept the memento from Justice D.Y. Chandrachud.
Thank you, sir. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to all the senior lawyers who have graciously attended this function. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
To proceed with the distribution of awards to outstanding lawyers, we request the dignitaries to kindly be on the dais. Recognizing the fact that all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, the Kerala High Court Advocates Association has all along been promoting those lawyers who have proven their mettle in the field of arts, sports, as also techno-legal innovation. Any award is not only a mark of excellence, but is also a tremendous boost for someone to strive and excel higher and aim for even better accomplishments in life. To recognize excellence in young and early career lawyers, the Kerala High Court Advocates Association has, in association with other sponsors of endowments, floated scholarships and other awards to meritorious and deserving advocates. The Justice K. Shankara Subhayar Fellowship and Justice T.S. Krishnamurthy Iyer Fellowship is an initiative by the Kerala High Court Advocates Association, supported by the Justice T.S. Krishnamurthy Iyer family, aimed at empowering and supporting first-generation lawyers below 5 years and practicing before the High Court of Kerala. Justice K. Shankara Subhayar was born in 1891 in one of the most illustrious families of civil servants and high government officials in the erstwhile state of Travancore. His grandfather, S. Shankara Subhayar, was the Diwan of Travancore during the period 1892 to 1898, during the regime of His Highness Sri Moolam Tirunal. Justice K. Shankara Subhayar graduated from the Madras Christian College and perused law in the Madras Law College. On completion, he commenced his legal practice under Sir C. P. Ramaswamy Iyer. Justice K. Shankara Subhayar subsequently came to Travancore and entered the Travancore Judicial Service. His service in the lower courts and subsequently as a district judge was highly commendable. This led to his elevation as a judge of the Travancore High Court. He was a very popular judge and was known for his eloquent and fair judgments. He retired in the year 1946. Justice K. Shankarasubbayar was a talented tennis player and was regularly requested to play at the Kaudiyar Palace by the royal family. He was also a voracious reader and a very popular public orator. Two of Justice K. Shankarasubbayar's sons rose to the eminence in the field of law. His eldest son, Justice T.S. Krishnamurthy Iyer, was one of the top lawyers of Kerala High Court. He was appointed as the Advocate General of the state in the year 1965 and later as a judge of the Kerala High Court. Post his retirement, he established a successful practice as a senior counsel in the Supreme Court of India. He also served as member of the 8th Law Commission of India. His younger son, Justice S. Padmanabhan, was a judge of the Madras High Court. His grandson, Justice S. Shankarasubban, was also a judge of the Kerala High Court. Justice K. Shankarasubbayar passed away in 1963 at the age of 72. The recipients of this year's Justice T.S.K. Iyer Fellowship Awards is being given to 5 young lawyers who are practicing in the High Court of Kerala and have less than 5 years of practice. The Justice T.S. Krishnamurthy Fellowship will be awarded to 5 female advocates, whereas the Justice K. Shankarasubbayar Fellowship will be awarded to 5 male advocates. The recipients of Justice K. Shankarasubbayar Fellowship Awards for this year are Ajay John. We request His Lordship, Honorable the Chief Justice, Justice Nidhin Jamdar, to give away the awards. Ajay John. Ajmal A. Arjun Harikumar. Jinu P. Binu. Midhun Madakal. The recipients of Justice T.S. Krishnamurthy Iyer Fellowship to 5 female advocates are Anjali Anil A. Anju R.S. Gopika H.H. Gayatri Rajagopal. And Stephanie Sharon. With due apologies, we request Advocate Kasha K. Malavan to kindly accept the memento from Honorable Justice D.Y. Chandrachud. Moving on, the Kerala High Court Senior Advocates Association wanted to identify, recognize, and encourage talented young lawyers and decided to institute 2 awards as the Outstanding Young Lawyer Award and the Promising Young Lawyer Award for 2 young lawyers who are members of the Kerala High Court Advocates Association. The first category was for lawyers having a practice in the High Court between 5 to 10 years, and the second category for lawyers having less than 5 years of standing. From those who have submitted their expression of interest to be considered for the award, there were 2 rounds of screening. A committee headed by Justice T.R. Ramachandran Nair, supported by 4 lawyers, shortlisted 3 candidates each for both the categories. From these, another committee headed by Justice Anthony Dominic unanimously chose the awardees. Their names are being announced now, before which I request Sri Nandakumara Menon, President of the Kerala High Court Senior Advocates Association, as also Advocate Kannanthanam sir, to be on the dais. Apart from the certificate and memento evidencing the grant of award, the awardees will be given a cash award of Rs 1 lakh and Rs 50,000 each. These awards are instituted in memory of late Grand Chevalier George Varghese Kannanthanam, a legendary lawyer of Kerala High Court of yesteryears. With announcing the name of the most outstanding young lawyer, our Advocate Aruna A. And the Promising Young Lawyer Award goes to Advocate Harishankar R.
Advocate Harishankar R. CodeClick is a groundbreaking app that takes public code data and transforms it into an accessible, customizable, and user-friendly platform for lawyers. It simplifies the legal workflow by automating tasks like fetching daily cost lists, providing real-time courtroom updates, and offering tailored case management tools. Lawyers can track case histories, set alerts for upcoming hearings, and even collaborate seamlessly with their teams, all within the app. By turning complex and scattered code data into something practical and intuitive, CodeClick isn't just helping legal professionals, it's setting a new standard for how technology can enhance accessibility and efficiency in the legal field. I now request Advocate Akhil Suresh, the one who has developed this groundbreaking app, CodeClick, to accept the award. I request Honorable Chief Justice D. V. Chandrachud to do the honors. Expert Evidence is a legal web archiving tool created by Advocate Nitin Sudhakar. It helps to capture, preserve, and present digital evidence from sources like social media and web in a way that meets legal standards. Unlike screenshots or printouts, it ensures the evidence is legally admissible as irrefutable proof, complying with international standards, forensic procedures. ensuring secure chain of custody, metadata, and mirror copy of the original. This means the online data can stand up in court in the right way, even if the original content is edited or deleted online. Expert evidence has acquired global acceptance. I now invite Advocate Nitin Sudhakar to accept the award.
We now request Honorable the Chief Justice, Justice Nitin Jamdar, to give away the Vinod J. Dev Memorial Trophy for the best performer in light music, sponsored by Raganiti, which goes to Advocate Kavya S.A. Next is the Advocate M.M. Matthew Memorial Trophy for the winner in Caroms competition, which goes to Advocate Sumesh C.S. Since Advocate Sumesh C.S. has a bereavement, Advocate Pramod J. Dev will receive the trophy on his behalf. Kerala High Court Advocates Association is indeed happy to congratulate the Masters team of Kerala High Court, who emerged as champions in the All India Masters Football Tournament held at Goa on 22nd to 25th November. Participants of the team are Binu B. Samuel, Shafiq N.A., Vipin Narayanan, Terry V. James, Jamshed Hafiz, Abraham Marcos, Sarun Rajan, Vivek George J, Manu BM, and Praveen Thomas. We are indeed happy that we get an opportunity to present a memento to the former Chief Justice of India, Dr. Chandrachud. And I request the President, Kerala High Court Advocate Association, to do the honors. We have a surprise for Justice Chandrachud in this Christmas season. He's being presented with a Christmas cake.
Now, I request Jayakrishnan U, Executive Committee Member, Kerala High Court Advocates Association, to render the vote of thanks.
Good evening to everyone present here. It's indeed my privilege and honor to deliver vote of thanks at this prestigious event. On behalf of the Kerala High Court Advocate Association, I extend our deepest gratitude to all the dignitaries, guests, and everyone present here, marking this event a successful one and more than an impactful one. First and foremost, I express our deepest gratitude to the Honorable Chief Justice of Kerala, Mr. Justice Nitin Jamdar, for presiding this event in a magnificent way. And Your Lordship, your commitment to justice and your unwavering dedication in upholding the principles of Constitution is inspiring to us. I would also like to extend our profound gratitude on behalf of the Kerala High Court Advocate Association to Justice Dr. D.Y. Chandrachud, our chief guest, for delivering an enlightening and thought-provoking lecture on this subject. Fraternity under the Constitution of India, our quest for an inclusive society. Your Lordship, your eloquence and deep insights into these fundamental constitutional principles have truly resonated with every member of the audience, leaving a lasting impression. I sincerely thank Mr. President Yeshwant Shenai and Secretary Mr. Anup B. Nair and other committee members for organizing this thought-provoking event. And my sincere gratitude goes towards the Honorable DSG, T.C. Krishna sir, who is always been there for all the organization of all the functions by the High Court of Association. Our deepest gratitude to the senior-most judges and other judges of Honorable High Court of Kerala for gracing this event with your esteemed presence. I thank from the bottom of my heart to all the senior advocates and other lawyers for making your valuable presence in this program. Sincere thanks to the Registrar General and other registrars, officers and staff of the Honorable High Court of Kerala. All the volunteers and the staff of KHCA who work efficiently to ensure the success of this event, we owe a great deal of appreciation. Your meticulous planning and dedication behind the scenes have been instrumental in making today's program seamless and impactful. As we conclude this event, let us carry forward the lessons learned today and strive to uphold the spirit of fraternity in our actions and decisions. Once again, thank you all who contributed to making this event a remarkable success. Thank you and have a wonderful night.
As the day draws to an end, with a salute to the Constitution of India, we hope that the patriotic spirit stays ignited in our hearts. Let's conclude the day's function with the national anthem to be sung in unison. Thank you, one and all. Thank you once again.